Hey folks, Tim here from Rockout Videography again. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the upgrades I did to my Squier CV50's P-Bass. Did I just build a Squier 54 reissue P-Bass for only $680? Or did I just waste about $200 replacing parts on a perfectly good Squier bass? Stick around and see what I did, then you can make up your own mind about this upgrade project and decide if it's something you might want to try yourself. We already covered the history of these basses in the review we did when we first got it, but here's a short version. In 1951, Leo Fender designed and introduced the world's first mass-produced and commercially successful solid-body electric bass guitar. In 1953, they added the body contours and changed to a white pickguard, along with a change from a butterscotch yellow finish to either white blonde or sunburst. In 1957, the P-Bass saw its biggest change with a new pickguard, a new headstock, and most importantly, new split coil humbucking pickups. In 2008, Fender introduced the Squier Classic Vibe 50s P-Bass. We bought one in 2017 and did a review. First of all, if you already have one of these or you're thinking about buying one, there's no need to do any upgrades to it. It's fine just the way it is. I have gigged with mine a lot over the last 8 years and love it. It sounds great and it's a lot of fun to play. So why did I decide to do an upgrade? I only did it because I thought it would be fun to try and get it as close to a real vintage early 50s P-Bass as I could. I went into this with the understanding that these changes would probably make it sound different, but not necessarily better. Tone is really subjective anyway, and everyone has a different opinion about what sounds good and what doesn't. To accomplish this goal, I first had to do some research. I soon learned that the early basses were wired differently than they are today, and it had a 1.5K resistor added to the tone pot. What this did was cause the volume to drop a little when the tone was dialed back. According to legend, this was because they were concerned that the speakers in the early Fender basement amps couldn't handle really low frequencies at high volume. Over the years, some owners of these early basses have actually had these resistors removed because they found this annoying. As I continued my research, I found that there was information available on Fender's American Vintage II 1954 precision bass and began using this as my example. I decided that the tuners and nut were fine, and I also decided that I didn't want to deal with a harder to intonate two-saddle bridge, so I kept the high-mass bridge with brass saddles that came with it. I do really like this bridge. I chose to go with a wiring kit from Stu Mac that included CTS pots and a Switchcraft output jack. I actually screwed up the stock output jack a while ago, which is why I haven't been playing this bass lately. I would have liked to have used the same pickup that Fender uses in their Vintage II 54 bass, but I couldn't find them selling it anywhere. I decided to go with the Seymour Duncan SCPB1 Vintage Single Coil P-Bass pickup instead. These are supposed to be an accurate copy of the early Fender single coil bass pickups. I was able to find the Fender branded wax paper and foil capacitor that is used in the Vintage II bass. This is probably where I ordered it from. This is the super awesome, super extra secret vintage tone sauce that most likely does absolutely nothing to the sound of the bass. I honestly could have probably just used the orange cap that came with the wiring kit and it would have sounded about the same. But this capacitor is really cool and helps me to sleep at night knowing that my confirmation bias has been positively reinforced for the low price of $24. I wouldn't be surprised if these are being made for Fender by the Lux Radio Shop. The last thing I needed was a 1.5K resistor. These were easily found on Amazon and were super cheap. They should be the same as the ones used in the 1950s. I had found the wiring diagram for the Vintage II 54 bass online, and it matched the other diagrams I had seen for wiring the bass with a resistor, so I decided to use that as my guide. I decided to leave the strings on it. This is going to make it a lot easier for a before and after test and make it more realistic. As expected, the bass came with metric size parts, including cheap mini pots and a green poly capacitor marked 2A623J, which is a capacitance of 0.062 UF with a tolerance of plus or minus 5% and a voltage rating of 100 volts. I've looked it up for you, so you don't have to if you're a nerd. The pickup was easy enough to remove. I tied a piece of heavy wax jewelry string to the old pickup wires before pulling it out. I was then able to use that as a pull string to get the new pickup wires through the channel. I used the foam piece off the bottom of the old pickup with the new pickup. This provides resistance to keep the pickup in place when adjusted to its proper height with the screws. I needed to find the correct size metric sockets to remove the nuts on the pots and the input jack. These turned out to be 11 and 12 millimeter. The size for the new pot and output jack nuts was 3/8 of an inch. After removing the pots, I discovered that the holes in the control plate were too small for the shafts of the full-size CTS pots. I corrected this with a 3/8 inch drill bit. This was no big deal. If you end up needing to do this, you just need a sharp bit made for use on metal. The easiest way to hold it in place was to just screw it into the 2x4. I also ended up needing to drill the output jack cup. I don't do enough soldering to be really good at it, but I can do it well enough to get by. I followed the Fender Vintage II 54 wiring diagram and managed to get it all working. I used my handy dandy mini battery powered amp to test it. I had decided when I planned this project that if I went to all this trouble, I should also do something to change the look of the bass. I really like the look of the tortoiseshell pickguard on my 62 reissue P-Bass, so I went looking for one online and found this one. It fit perfectly and lined up with the neck, control plate, and screw holes. New pots also meant new knobs. These chrome ones from Fender I found are close to what it came with, but maybe what they're using on the Vintage 254 bass? Maybe. I also found a wood thumb rest that was close enough to fitting that I was able to get it screwed down with a little bit of playing around. I believe the original ones were wood that were painted black. So how does it sound now with these new parts? I did a before and after test with the bass plugged directly into a high Z input on my PreSonus 1818 VSL interface. One thing that I noticed right away is the difference in volume output between the old pickup and the new one. The new pickup has an output that's about 12 dB lower. This is supposed to be accurate to what the output of the old vintage pickups from the early 1950s actually were. I've equalized the volume in post so that you can better hear the difference. The volume difference from the tone pot wasn't as drastic as I expected. So, how does it sound now in a mix? We recorded the drums through the Zoom L20 and added everything else through the interface. The drum overheads went through a pair of JHS color box pedals and the kick went through a JHS pulp and peel. The bass also went through the pulp and peel, and the guitars were recorded direct through a Joyo America sound pedal with the voice knob cranked up into the 57 Deluxe zone. Some guitar dirt came from a JHS Bonsai and some spring reverb came from a Joyo Atmosphere. Samuel keeps improving on keyboards, and he ran our Yamaha MX49 through the America Sound pedal as well. I use stock plugins to mix it in PreSonus Studio One. Remember, I'm just a bass player, and this is just a test song.
A student or engineer at some university or big tech company recently got irritated about some problem that we all hate and designed something that solves this problem we all have, cheaper, faster, and more efficiently than traditional solutions. As soon as the evil corporations that we all despise, in spite of our pension and retirement funds being heavily invested in them, found out about this new invention, they tried to buy it from him, knowing they would just shelve it to protect their unethical investments into traditional technology. He has decided to make it available directly to you here on the internet for free. This new device called the "Please hit the like and subscribe" buttons helps YouTube creators reach more people and grow their channels. You can control the destiny of the universe and hit the like and subscribe buttons for free using this new technology called the "Hit the like and subscribe" buttons that you see on your screen below. By hitting the like and subscribe buttons, you can solve all your problems and get the dopamine hit you need right now to enjoy your day and solve that problem that we all hate. Thank you.
So what do I think about the bass now? Do I think it sounds better, and was it worth it? Well, I'm definitely happy with the way it turned out. It was a fun project, and I do think the bass sounds better now. Keep in mind, though, I have a huge confirmation bias issue here because I really want it to sound better. It definitely sounds different. If you're thinking about doing something like this, keep in mind that you should probably do it for the fun and experience of it, not because you think you're going to be increasing the instrument's value. People are unlikely to pay extra for an upgraded Squier bass. However, you may be able to improve the way that you think the bass sounds, and you could end up with something special and unique that you are proud of. That's what I have here. Doing the research and the work to get this thing close to being a 54 reissue precision bass was fun and rewarding. No one but me and the kids really care, but now it's a really cool bass with a story that should be around for a long time and will hopefully be passed down to future generations. It's basically what you would get if you modded a 54P bass with a new bridge and pickguard. Let us know in the comments what you think about this upgrade project. Do you ever perform your own modifications to your instruments? If so, what kind of mods do you like to do? I would also be interested in hearing what people think about the new pickup. In my opinion, that's the one thing that really made a difference in the way it sounds. We appreciate everyone who has been subscribing, liking, and commenting. It's amazing people like you who help us and the other creators here on YouTube continue to reach people and grow our channels. We hope you found this video helpful and entertaining. Until next time, have a great day. I gave you one job, literally one job to do, and that was to order the correct resistor for this bass. It's not a 1.5K, it's a 5K resistor. Hey, no, don't look away from me when I'm talking to you. This is your fault. You did this, and now I look foolish on the internet in front of thousands of people. Okay, maybe 100. There'll be at least a dozen people that'll watch this video, including Grandma. You need to make it right. I'm deducting money off of your paycheck for this mistake. You're going to pay for it, and you're going to go order another resistor for us. Do it right now. Go.